We need it. Oxygen is why we breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Stories. I am your host, Dr. LL. You know me. We've been bringing you wonderful guests every week, and now we are recording at 2 to 3 times per week just to bring you more because the demand has been that great. So that's very exciting. So first off, hugs and thank you to all the listeners out there who are help moving our podcast up the rankings and making it available to more and more people. All right. Enough about me and small business stories. Let's focus on our guest here. We've got Chris Prefontaine, and he is the smart real estate coach. And you're thinking, okay, where is this going? The first thing off the bat I'll tell you is that he uses the expression wicked smart. So those of you that grew up in the 80s would understand the expression and how relevant it is today. Chris, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. And then to know that you're from New England or close to me in general, the Wicked Smart kind of lives in the Boston area, right? People from other parts of the country look at me like we got 10 heads, but we'll get there.
That's okay because I'm dialing in from North Jersey and give folks a little sense of, I always like to say, give them the visual experience because not everybody watches our podcast on YouTube. So they don't get the visual richness of it. They're listening, they're in their cars, on the go, working out, whatever that they're doing. And so we like to create that sense of, well, what's it like? Who is Chris? What are you like? Maybe what you look like, if you want to share that, the room that you're in, where Rhode Island. So they're like, I'm starting to associate some context with the voice here, and it helps. People like it. It's a feature of the show they like. So please enlighten us. What can you
Appreciate it.
share?
So I've been at real estate 34 years, so I won't go all the way back. I'll have everybody sleeping on the listener side, but I'll just give you a quick 10,000 foot view and then give you kind of where we are. Well, I'll do where we are first. I'm in Newport, Rhode Island. So it's a tiny little dot in the map, cool oceanfront community. I have a office in the Newport area myself, and I camp out here with my son, Nick, an office manager, Sue, and then everyone else flies in now post-COVID. We used to have a building, Laurelyn, with all our people there. And post-COVID, we just come in here, a few of us, and everybody else is virtual. So yeah, I'm camping out my own office. I stand at this lovely desk. I think you're standing too, but I usually don't see that. So that's what I do all day long. I will tell you from a real estate standpoint, I said 34 years. It goes back to 91. I've been at this and I got in originally because my dad built a regular conventional business in this area, in Massachusetts, actually. But he built his own buildings. And as he did that, I watched that and I was around the real estate. So that got me into it. But I've been at this from brokerage to building homes to getting crushed in the 2008 crash and then having to reinvent my business to what it is today, is why I wanted to give you that bridge. Because today we buy all without banks, without putting our money up. And it was all because of coming out of the crash. I was like devastated, no money, no credit. And that's how this whole thing was born. And then we started getting organically around the country demand to teach it because people are like, well, that's cool. I don't have to go out and ask for money. I can just do my own deals creatively. So creative real estate's been around for decades and decades, well before you and I. It's just that no one's really wrapped a bow around it and taught it with support and interactive learning like we have. So that's kind of what we do all over the country now. We're in 80 markets right now.
Oh, incredible. Congratulations. That's massive success. And I think it speaks to why you are wicked smart, right? About what you do, trying to figure that out. But I want to roll back and really dig into what you said about the devastation that you experienced in the financial crisis there, 2008, 2009, not because I want people to relive their pain and their trauma, but because I think it's a really key factor in entrepreneurship. We have these major highs and then we have these crashes, and it's all about what do you do with it? How do you learn? How do you pivot? What do you do next? Do you give up? What do you do? So, talk to us first about the emotions behind that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you. Because I always say when business is easy, that's like there's no learning lessons in there, right? When the wind's at your back. So from an emotion standpoint, that is what stopped me, is the whole mental side of the business. So although it's real estate related, I'm going to step away from that for a minute to answer your question because it was 100% in my head. It was, I had to move. Let me give you a picture. I had to move from a nice home overlooking Newport Harbor to a one bedroom condominium that was disgusting when we moved in, my wife and I. I've been married 30, going on 39 years. So, um,
Congratulations.
thank you. So that picture that I walk into the apartment. She says, "Hey, I think this is where we should move to reset everything." And we leave this. Now we didn't even sell yet. I leave the place and I walk down to this place and I go, "You gotta be kidding me!" Lime green tub and stained rugs from animals that were like it was disgusting. We made it fun, Laurelyn. We made it fun and we had a ball doing it and sold our cars off and lived in this 900 square foot apartment. That was a shocker. Now, to your question, it was an ego shocker too, right? I failed. I must not be able to do this. Now, keep in mind, I've been at it already 18 or so years. So I'm saying, okay, I guess I can't do this. So I was in my head for 4 years, from February of '08 to February of 12, specifically to date. Those months, I was in my head, getting in my own way, not starting until my wife and a couple other people said, "You got to get out of your own way and get back at it. It's what you're good at." And that's when everything came about for Smart Real Estate Coach and our own properties. We still are in the trenches every day doing our own thing.
I really applaud you for sharing that because it's a difficult thing for a lot of people, but it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
We all have those moments of doubt. And then many of the clients and podcast guests that I talk to, those moments of doubt, they're more prevalent than the moments of
Spot
euphoria,
on.
right?
Yeah.
And it can make all the difference. Can you keep going? Or does the crap in your head get so big and so loud that it weighs you down and you can't move forward? And you talked about 4 years. That's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 4 years of my son's the only one that witnessed it. He works with me here, but it was 4 years of literally almost full time working with creditors, IRS, credit card company, because I didn't file. I said, I'm going to dig my way out of this. So he witnessed all that. Like he was, he was right next door to me when I had to go through all this. So there was some serious lessons. Now, in hindsight, I help some of our community members who come to us with headaches and they actually hear about my story and they go, "Ooh, maybe you can help me." But sadly, I also see people at our events that come up to me, and I mean, I can think of one in particular who comes up to me every year for the last 4 years saying, "Yeah, but '08 crushed me, and my wife doesn't want me to do it." This is crazy. You're talking, this is a lot of years ago, buddy. So it's a bummer to see that. I applaud the people that step forward and go, "Yeah, that's me. Can you please help me?" And as a coach and as an owner of the company, I want to be able to get in there and say, "Yep, I've been there." Unfortunately, my challenge in the 4 year span, Laurelyn, was I wasn't going, well, somebody must have been through this already. I didn't do that until the fourth year. And then when I did, I found out what I was going through was okay. Number one. Number two, wasn't my fault. Number three, a lot worse people have gone through. So that was sort of an eye opener and a call out to anyone who's going through that. There are people who've gone through worse. Just go reach out to them. They'll help you.
And that's just it. I think that that's also part of it. When you're part of this club, right? The Entrepreneur Club,
Yeah.
there are people to lean on. And that's part of the reason why I do this podcast. It's not only to highlight all of the incredible things that my guests are doing, but it's to highlight the trials and tribulations that my guests have experienced on the
Yeah.
path of entrepreneurship. Because, like I said, there are dark days, and anybody who's telling you, yo, 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 it's all bros and Lambos, right, with the cute little vests and stuff in Silicon Valley. I lived there, did the .com .bomb crash, so I experienced all that stuff too. And it is not yo-yo bros and Lambos.
Yeah.
All that crap you see on YouTube is rented.
I 100% agree. So when I started 12 or 13 years ago now, this company, I think I had two or three competitors. Like I would know if you called me as a student, you mentioned, I'd go, "Yep, I know them. Here's the difference." Now there's probably, we're in a mastermind with 200 coaching companies. A lot of them are real estate, crazy. And to your point, my point of this was they're all marketing heavy, get rich quick tomorrow on the internet. And the sad thing is people go run for that and then they beat themselves up. They didn't have success in 30 days, let's say in real estate. It's just not reality.
Yeah.
The other piece of this that you made me think of is the whole mental piece. Like I wish I could say we help everybody in real estate and that's all we do. Like the skill set of real estate. That would be easy. They could watch my YouTube channel and go do deals. But I'll give you a quick example. I won't use her name, but this week, there's a woman that came to me. She's in my higher level program, so I know her pretty well. And it wasn't real estate related. There was a bunch of health challenges, like a bunch of health challenges. So I dug through and I basically referred it to my natural path, and it's changing her life this week. Like I'm getting text messages at night saying, "Oh my good God, I can't even believe I'm going through this detox and all the stuff I'm going through." My point is, it's not just the niche or the business you're in. this mindset stuff and the health stuff and someone who's been through all of it to help you with that is super important. That's why I love what you're doing on your show, because it kind of incorporates all the stuff I'm talking about right now, indirectly.
Oh, yeah. I am a firm believer in it. And where some of my listeners might say, ooh, Lurland, that's too woo woo, or you're too on the other side. There's the right balance for everyone. But this is
Yeah,
the thing that I really do try to emphasize for all of our listeners is that entrepreneurship requires a holistic approach.
everything.
If you're burning the midnight oil and waking up at 6 a.m, I've done that. You end up looking like this with really bad bags under your eyes that makeup is getting increasingly ineffective at covering up. And then B, you start to do things that are detrimental to your health. And when you start to have those moments, like I know when I've pushed too hard, I start feeling like crap. I'm not making solid decisions. I'm not
Yeah.
there for my clients in the way I want to show up. And then that's when I have to pull back, reset. And I did that over the weekend, pulled back, didn't open my laptop. That doesn't
Love it.
usually happen, right? It's always something, some client calling, oh, can we have a Saturday call, a Sunday call? And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm fried. And for me to be good for you on
Yeah,
Monday and going forward, I need this time. I'm blocking it.
I agree.
You have to.
Yeah, 100%. A couple years ago, excuse me, we took on, gosh, it's probably more than that now, COVID. During COVID, we took on an equity partner who's had enormous success, but unfortunately messed up some relationships and things in that process. But now in hindsight, he's got some cool things that he can share. And one of them, this is so simple, but you made me think of it with your schedule. And that is, he said, Chris, why don't you just start like blocking off Friday? This was 4 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that because I'm a type A, work. I said, all right, I'll try it. Now if someone schedules something on a Friday for me, it's totally an oddity. Like it doesn't happen. And then this year I started incorporating Monday. So my wife loves it, and my health loves it, and we still get as much, if not more, done, which is pretty cool.
That's really great. I'm trying to move towards that, but like again, like this podcast is all about speaking the truth. I'm not there yet. As much as I advise my clients and others, this is what you need to do.
Yeah,
Time blocking, it's so important. It's the best thing
yeah.
you can do, right? Be the CEO of your own calendar. It doesn't
It's tough.
happen.
Yeah, it's real tough. I have a buddy in a totally different industry, and we've been friends for 40 years, and he said, yeah, I'm trying to take time off. It's hard. Like entrepreneurship is hard, and making that switch is hard.
Yeah, it's all or even making the switch from corporate into it, right? People are used to all of that structure, and then they find themselves like, wait, what a minute. I don't have leads naturally falling into my inbox. No, I don't have people like hundreds of people just automatically liking my LinkedIn post because I put up something intelligent. No, right? There's a lot of stuff behind that. And again, back to the bros and Lambos myth that people have been, well, they've been sold a bill of goods. So let's turn back to real estate and talk about some of the things that are
Sure.
going on. So, in with respect to real estate, we've seen in 2025 a lot of stagnation in the market, not a lot of shifting. Boomers are aging in place. They're not giving up their homes. Their millennial, right, Gen Y children are counting on taking ownership of their boomer parents' homes. That's not even happening with regularity. You've had the Fed kind of holding pretty firm with respect to rates and where things are, inventory. Then, of course, you've had the tariffs and all of the impact that's putting on new construction and new builds. So, how does somebody get to be smart about real estate investments given all
Yeah.
this nonsense that's going on? What do we do, Chris?
Yeah, you bring up like all the pieces you just stacked in there is exactly how and why in the direction we went after the crash. Meaning, there's one constant in real estate, right? I think everybody would agree it constantly changes. So whether it's political, whether it's the media, they're always screaming in the wrong direction, but that's another whole conversation. But all these noises are coming at us, and people are trying to time the market, or this not good in this market, we gotta wait. All that's a bunch of nonsense if you know how to operate in the creative real estate world, which the big players do. So what do I mean by that? 95%, let's just use that number. It's a large number of the people will listen to the media. I call it sheep. They just go with the herd. When in fact you look and you research. I don't care what book you pick up. You research this for decades. You'll see that most of the wealth is created when there's uncertainty or change or just turmoil in the market. Example: COVID hits in March. The sellers don't have any clue what to do. So we become a guide. I scream from the rooftops, guys, double down. This is not a time to not go forward. Our community brought in a record amount of properties. Now, 2 months later, what happened? The sellers all of a sudden figured out, oh, I can sell. It's going crazy. I can sell like nothing. Okay, so we didn't go out of business. We just said, okay, we have to fish in a different pond, and we teach how to, what lead sources to use in what market. That's all it is. So all that to say, you can and should operate in upward, sideways, downward market. Doesn't matter. In fact, you'll be most profitable when it's least predictable for the media and the public. When they need a guide, when there's confusion, and that's always going on, frankly, but it's going on right now, heavy to your point. So that was a long answer to your good question, but learn creative real estate and put your head on the pillow at night, knowing that you can operate in any market. That's kind of cool.
Well, let's dig into that further because, like I said, I did paint like pretty much all the macro drivers that you're going like, whoo, right? You're pulling your hair out and going, what do I do? And either you're paralyzed by all of that chaos
Yep.
in the market, or as a true entrepreneur, someone who sees an investment opportunity and wants to capitalize on the opportunity, right? That's the definition of entrepreneurship, that you've got to be prepared to sustain that volatility and have that internal resilience, good sleeps at night, good nutrition, all of that rest, that mindset, because you've got to be prepared for that bumpy ride. And maybe
Yeah.
talk about that because you alluded to it earlier in our podcast where you said, hey, it's not this like 30-day thing. I see the same thing. Some clients say, like, oh, great, yeah, help us with our social media. In 30 days, like, what do you mean we don't have thousands of leads and we haven't gone viral? No, that's not how it works. Talk to us about
From
all of
time,
that, like what people need to be prepared for, that there's a,
yeah. I think, well, let me say this. It doesn't matter what industry, but I'll talk about what we're talking about, real estate. Because of the internet now, there are numerous people who are where you want to be and have also already weathered the storms. Like all the marketing garbage we talked about, a lot of those people haven't weathered one storm, let alone 4 or 5 or 6 economic storms, right? So no matter what niche you're in, I'm assuming there's different niches that listen to your show. Just find someone that do this. Here's 3 quick steps. This will help you deal with it. One, first of all, find a niche that you like, whether it's real estate or whatever it might be, right? So assuming that everybody knows what they want and they're passionate about it. Two, find someone that you can get behind that's weathered storms economically, weathered storms personally, and there's someone you want to attach to morally and ethically. Because, like I said, I met someone who just totally trashed their relationships with their kids and their wife, and even lost one of his kids. Like, that's not someone that I go, yeah, I want to attach that and learn how that happened. No, I want to stay clear of that. So when I say in your niche, attach with someone, make sure that it all aligns with what you are about value-wise. Third is the tough part to your question. It is put the blinders on for 3 to 7 years. Now you probably, because the younger crowd won't remember this, but you know Brian Tracy's name, I'm sure, from
of
back
course, eat
when.
that
Okay.
frog.
Yep.
He's
Brian
a
Tracy
famous
and a
coach for
million
eat
other
that
books
frog.
he wrote. Yeah.
Right, but that's what he's known for, right? His procrastination
Big
theories
time.
and eat that frog. Sorry, go on. Didn't
Yeah,
mean to
no,
interrupt
you're
your flow,
good. You're
Chris.
good. So clearly you know who it is. So Brian was on my show during COVID. He was like 82 then, and he said I gave him my philosophy of the question you asked about blinders on 3 years. That's what I told him. Usually a guest will say, because it's my show, they'll go, yeah, yeah, you're right. Like I agree with you. He said, no, that's not right. I said, why? And since then I've been repeating what he said. He said, Chris, I've been broke, I've been extremely wealthy. It takes 7 years in the entrepreneurial journey, because 2 or 3 years you're gonna really suck. This is exactly how he put it. 2 or 3 years you're gonna say, I'm feeling adequate, like I'm getting my legs. In the last couple of years, you're gonna have a breakthrough. That's a 7 year journey. And so since then, I've been saying 3 to 7 because I agreed with him. I had to eat my words there. So that I hope answered your question. Like it takes time, but along that journey, here's the biggest thing is you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be feel like you failed. All the things that I've gone through and that certainly Brian has gone through. And you're going to need someone to go, hey, knock, knock. What do I do here? That's why I said it's so important for that second step to get that person you can do that with.
I do. I think it's essential. And I don't think you're telling our listeners that, hey, 3 to 7 years, just ignore everything, put it on autopilot, pretend it doesn't exist. I don't think you're
No,
saying that,
no,
right?
no,
So
no,
talk to
no.
us more
Good.
about where I think you're going.
Yeah, good point. And tell me if I nail it, and if not, peel back more. But no, of course not, because it's dealing with all this stuff, right? It's what we opened the show with. I said something about when the wind's at your back, it's easy. No, it's when things are really tough and really get frustrating, and you're emotionally beat up. That's where the learning is. if you welcome it, right? Here's the silly example I always give. Rubber band. I did this once and my wife played around with it. I put a rubber band in my hand, and every time I had a sort of an expanding thought or a challenge, I would pull the rubber band. And it was a analogy for me was a rubber band, even though we can't see it, every time you pull it, it's going to be a different shape, right? It's not going to be the exact same thing. So you're expanding, expanding, expanding. Now she used to use it to snap it if she didn't like what I was saying. That's another whole story. But my point is, you need these times, and they do suck. And if you say mentally, okay, I welcome it. I welcome it because I know I'm growing. That's going to be different than I'm frustrated. I got to stop, right? And so many people stop so early that they don't give themselves the chance to grow through that. It's fun coming out the other side. I was listening to a video. I think it was yesterday when I was on the bike. Goggins, the military guy who does a lot of motivational videos, and I read all his books. But it just happened to be a segment on that, and he talked about it. He said, all these things that people visualize all these fluffy things, but they don't want to get to work and deal with these issues you and I are talking about. Deal with them, and you'll be stronger. So I could say it in a number of different ways. I hope I hit that for you.
Absolutely. In fact, you echoed it. Like, and where I thought you were going with the rubber band, I've heard that with people doing EMDR and other different forms of therapy, that you snap it to snap yourself back to reality. Hey, look, you're alive. You're
Yeah,
not weathering some horrific, storm out in the Atlantic, right? We heard about Hurricane Melissa in the fall. I mean, the
right.
devastation that's brought. Hey, snap to it, right? Get refocused. If you feel like you need time to regroup, take it. Take the afternoon off, go get on your bike, go take a walk, take your dog, hang out, do a picnic, go shopping, whatever you want to do that's going to make you feel a little bit better so that you come back into the frame where you need to be to know, like, hey, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you've got to keep going because I see it too. So many people, they're on that edge and everybody thinks, oh, it's instant success. Because again, YouTube has said, oh, you can be an influencer.
Right.
Just hold this
Man.
up. Look at this product here. And then, instantly I'm
Yep.
making gabillions of dollars, right? Not how it works. So back and into the real estate. So there are many initiatives now where they say for as little as $100 a month, Amazon is one. You can invest in these collective programs. So they say you got to start at any age that you can because it's like a portfolio, investment portfolio and mutual funds that you got to start putting the money in, and it's going to take time until those. It accrues, right? So that you start to build the interest on it and start to have a nice nest egg, but it's decades later. Talk to us about those strategies. Do you think those make sense for people, or hey, you just got to accumulate a certain level of wealth and comfort before you can go into this? To talk about the guardrails when people should be thinking about real estate investment.
I'm gonna give you my biased answer because it's been my life, right?
Right.
I like to have my finger on things that I can control. And in my opinion, if I put $100 into a stock, I know for a fact the stock can grow. I know for a fact the stock can go to zero, right? I think everybody would agree that a company can go out of business, right? And they do. Okay. I know for a fact if I put my energy, effort, money into real estate, that it cannot go to zero. Think about it. Like this building cannot go to zero. It can have a dive in value, but it cannot go to zero. Okay, so I'm comfortable in that, and I can see, touch, feel, and I can know that it's there. Secondly, the misperception, I was part of this for 18 years of my 30 something years. The misperception is I need money to get into real estate. So therefore I'll try to save and scrimp and then I can invest. Well, no, you don't have to. And no, you don't have to pledge your credit. It's how we open the show. You can learn from us or someone else how to buy real estate with little to no. I'll never say zero because even if you, I'll give you a quick example. Even if you tie a property up on a lease purchase agreement, you're going to spend $10. That's it. And if you buy it, you're going to spend a few grand. But you do not need gobs of cash and you do not need credit. It's how we got re-engineered here. So I would rather have someone understand that way earlier than I did in life to go, all right, I can at age, we've had young kids come in here as apprentices as interns and go out and crush it in real estate with no credit and no money. So it can be done. If they get nothing else out of it and they're younger and listening to this, get that you can go do that now. You don't have to wait and save up anything special. Just go learn how to do it.
Now, you've provided a generous offer for our listeners on the book that you've written, and you're making that available at no charge, even on the shipping, which is incredible. Can you talk to us about, Chris, how folks can get access to that? Do they DM you? What do they do? Is there a link that we're going to provide in the notes?
Yeah, I'll give you a link. And this was born out of when I started back after that 4 year stint we talked about. I would click on something and it would say free book or free this or free that. And it's always ad shipping. And I'd get frustrated with that. So this is, you will not be asked for a credit card for 10 cents. You just provide your address. You'll get actually two of our best sellers. The Real Estate on Your Terms, which you see over my shoulder here if you're watching this, was out of also frustration where when I was starting back, I would get like pieces of information, but all the programs would not give me the whole thing because they want what? They want you to go ahead and buy something else and buy something else. So I said, you know what, to heck with it. I never wrote a book. I was put in a special reading class when I was in elementary school. Like you would never think I'd be an author, but I did know that I wanted to give you A to Z. And so I did that. And then after COVID, we revised it. So sort of explains our family business as well as how we work with people around the country. That's Real Estate on Your Terms. And the second one will be in there in the box will be deal structure overtime, where we break down deals and kind of like behind the scenes what goes on. And a lot of people don't tell you that stuff because it's not the fluffy stuff, right? It's the in the trenches stuff. So that'll be free. Just go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Laura Lynn. wickedsmartbooks.com/Laura Lynn. And that way we'll know it came and we'll honor that.
Excellent. And we'll put that in the notes in that for sure. All right. So we're getting close to the end of our show, but we want to bring in a few more concepts here in and about real estate and how people should be looking for opportunities. Do you think that the impact of AI is really being useful with respect to, hey, consider these strategies, consider that? Like, where is your head with respect to the potential value of AI in its current incarnation?
From my side of the table, AI is helping us a lot because we're training, like students would send us calls and we'd have to critique them. That's hours and hours and hours of work. Now we're training AI to do that with us, as well as come up with ideas for logos and things like that. But as far as someone looking at AI to say what niche is best, sure. But then take whatever you get out of that and then go talk to a real person and go, what do you think? Here's kind of what I've narrowed it down to. Tell me your experience because you want. Let me give you an example of why that's important. There are some, in my opinion, there are some predatory niches in real estate. Like there are some buyers that have to go get your house at 60 or 70 cents on the dollar. Well, to me, that's not helping that person. That's beating them up when they're down. And I'm sorry if you're out there and you're a wholesaler or a rehab. I have a lot of friends that do it. I'm just telling you, there's a big difference. So if you get something from AI and it says, go do this, go check if it aligns with you. Because in our world, it's a win-win-win, buyer, seller, us, and that's not easy to get, right? So do the smell test on that if you could.
Yeah, that's just it. Because all of I do have folks that are in hard luck loans and lending that they do for real estate to have help people keep their house because maybe some major event happened, a tree collapsed on their roof, they weren't insured, et cetera, et cetera. So
Sure.
they find themselves in a position, right? They need a hard luck loan. And then really these predatory sort of buyers and lenders are in there and saying, okay, we'll take a note on the house, we'll do this, we'll fix the roof, but right, there's always that but, and you've got to really look at that. And if that's an approach you're comfortable with as a business, like you said, great. If that aligns with your values, fine.
Right,
I'm not on that side. I'm more of a person who like genuinely cares about people and wants to help,
right.
i.e., I don't even collect from my clients. I give them time if they need 3 months, 6 months, because they're having a hard time. Now that has bitten me in the backside. I've lost a lot of
Oh,
money
I
along
get
the
it. I've
way.
been there.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel better, doing it and say, look,
Yep.
here's the plan. Let's give you 3 months of a reprieve, but then hey, you got to start making payments, right? Like let's make this work. I'm trying to make it work for you. You got to help make it work for me.
Right.
And because that's how I believe in doing business. But anyway, that said, let's bring this home. So, Chris, how and where can our listeners find you?
In addition to the link we gave, they can simply go to, I have a, again, free, because I want people to go free, 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 free until they figure out if it's for them, right? So they can go to smartrealestatecoach.com/masters class and they'll just get a free workshop. It's a replay. Nobody's going to be breathing down your neck. You do it at your time. You schedule a replay. It's the best way. That and the free book link will hook you up with us.
Excellent. Okay, that's really good. Now, our last question, it's our signature question. Most guests love it. Some raise their eyebrows and think, well, that's a little silly, but it is our signature question. As I said, I've interviewed more than 250 folks, and I always ask the question, and it's kind of fun because the response is pretty much never the same, which I find fascinating. Anyway,
Makes it good.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. Right. So the question is, do 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 do. Now, if we got a chance to look into your closet, now, had it been that closet in that one bedroom apartment that you rebuilt your life on, or maybe now in your beautiful new home overlooking the harbor, if we looked in your bedroom closet and there was a footwear or an accessory or a piece of clothing that personified who you, Chris Prefontaine, is. It just screams, I am Chris. And you feel like $1,000,000 when you wear whatever that is. What are we looking at? Describe it to us and why it is your personality.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because my wife will say, "What are you going to wear?" And it's the same answer. So you are only going to see two things in there. I don't care what time of year it is, and that is jeans and a black shirt. That's it. Why now? Why there's nothing special there, but it's comfortable for me. So I'll say to my wife, "I'm going to wear what I'm comfortable wearing. I don't care if I'm speaking. I don't care if it's straight to people. I don't care if I'm in the office with a special private client. That's what it. So it's not exciting, but that's what it is."
That's okay, right? Like I said, like that's what like I said, I love the question because you get everything from responses along those lines, like, oh my God, it's just one more decision, right? We all remember Steve Jobs, who got to the point where he said, I can't make one more freaking decision. So he just bought an entire wardrobe of jeans and black
I
cashmere
love it.
turtlenecks.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, there's one more thing. Flip-flops, no matter what time of year, unless it's January or February, flip-flops. Add an event even, which freaks people out.
There you go, right? But like own it. I'm all about it, right? You should be
Yeah.
able to put your mark. I'm a glitter girl, so I wear things that are sparkly all the time. It's what it
It's
is,
you.
whatever, right? That's me.
Yeah.
Fine. So, with that, Chris Prefontaine from Smart Real Estate Coach, we really appreciate you being on the show and making
Thank
that
you.
generous offer to provide our listeners with your best-selling books about how they can get into real estate at any age, at any time, even if they don't have the capital that they think they need to be able to do that. Chris, thanks so much for being on our
Thank
show
you.
today.
Appreciate it.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?